Me Michele, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
Hello, good people. Welcome into the Talk to Me Michelle podcast. You know how I do. I like to keep it real, keep it honest, and keep it insightful. And I know you guys have been noticing I've switched up my guest list because I am experiencing relocation out of the country. And I want to talk to everybody who's had this experience because not only is it a learning experience for myself, regardless of the location, it is also a journey you guys may want to take yourselves. So today, I got a power couple on the show today, y'all. I am so proud because they are actually from Houston. We've crossed paths before, but this is our first time really having a good conversation. The power couple I'm talking about, they turned their leap of faith into a lifestyle. The business is changing their lives. And the Princeton and CC Suttons didn't just dream about moving abroad, they made it happen. After relocating from the US to Mexico, they built the Sutton Adventures. Now, you guys, like I said, these people have always been on a grind, but I know with this new adventure, they're going to take you guys on an adventure. So I want you guys to sit back with me, listen to their journey from the US to Mexico, how they gained residency, and how they're helping others live the dream abroad. Guys, please welcome Mr.
Hola.
Come on, hola now. Come on now. We all up in the Espanol. How you guys doing?
We are doing beautiful.
Less than highly favored.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for inviting us into your home, your tribe this evening. This has been an exciting journey, and we just look forward to pouring into other folks and hopefully inspiring them to do the same.
Sharing is caring.
Yes, and I'm telling you, just by going to your website, I was being nosy, and I went to your website, and I mean, just the adventures you're sharing with so many other people, it is so inspiring to see you guys doing this work.
Thank you. Thank you sincerely. It has been a journey,
True adventure.
a true adventure, just like
True adventure. We've been doing it for 5 years. I've hosted 13 international trips to Dubai, Greece, Maldives, South Africa, Egypt, and so yeah.
And that's actually how we even decided to take this leap of faith, like you explained it earlier. About 5 years ago, when we started this business, as you probably know, Michelle, when you're out traveling and getting exposed to so much, you start asking yourself, can I maybe do this? Is this something that I could possibly consider? We started meeting other immigrants who were telling us how their life is transformed, how much they feel better. So we opened our minds a little bit. At first, we were considering Dubai. We were doing quite a bit of business out there initially, but God said, I need you to bring it in a little bit.
Yeah.
We ain't going to jump out there that far.
Close to the border.
So then we started looking at Panama. And then one day Tristan was like, what about Mexico? It's 2 hours from home. We love it when we go on vacation there. The people are nice. Let's just explore that. So November, we started that exploration. By May of this year, we landed here.
6-month journey.
That is awesome. I mean, but you guys had a couple of spots lined up beforehand, but what made it Mexico the new place to call home?
I would say the proximity. The city that we looked into was Puerto Vallarta, which was just beautiful and like paradise. The amenities, it's very similar to back to Houston. We have a Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart. You call 911 if you have an emergency. The people are friendly. And so it was just the familiarity, the proximity, cost of living that made us say, okay, this is a great launch pad to start our move abroad journey.
Sounds good. I mean, because a lot of people do it because they hear of things, they don't really do the research. Oh, I hear it's cheaper to live here and I can get so many of this here. But I know you guys do research, and I'm sure you did a lot of that before you made your final decision.
We definitely did. I'll let you in on a secret. We actually had never even heard of Puerto Vallarta before we even explored it. We really hadn't. We were looking for somewhere that had a Cabo feel, but less touristy, kind of like we wanted to feel like a lot more local vibe. So that's how we landed on Puerto Vallarta, and we're so glad we found it.
Yeah, because when I looked at where you guys were staying, I said I got to learn more about it because I wasn't familiar with it either. But your personal journey, how did that personal journey lead to launching relocation tours?
Ooh, you want to take care of that?
You know, I will tell you this. When we were initially thinking about moving out here, we had something. God always got something else. Let me just say that. He always
Yeah.
has something totally different. But once we landed here, so many people started, asking questions like who, what, how. I was thinking about it too. We were like, for real?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have been kind of thinking about this in silos, if you will. People don't really get out and say, I'm thinking about moving to Mexico every day. But once we announced that we had moved here, we started getting so many inquiries about it that we decided anytime that there's a need, a business need that we see, we try to think, well, God, is this what you want us to tackle? So that's how we really landed on it. People just started asking about it.
When you start finding that there's a consistent problem, then if you have a solution to that, then you can form a business around it.
Yeah.
So we were able to be blessed to provide a business or have a business that provides a solution to a kind of a confusing and complex process. It's not every day that someone from the United States tries to immigrate to another country. So there's a lot of information to go through, then a lot of misinformation to try to see if it's true or false. So we've been put in a position to help people drive people straight to where they need to go to get to their finish line.
I'll be honest with you. I actually thought we were just going to be hosting trips, come out to Mexico, have a good time, turn up some bases and go on home. But again, he had a different vision for this all because, again, you have to remember the reason why we moved down here was not very much so the reason why a lot of people are now deciding to move. We really just wanted a different change of pace. We are entrepreneurs. Houston had us going. We just wanted to slow things down a bit. But now we're glad to be in position to help people find their piece of peace at this point.
And I'm gonna tell you, those photo shoots, I felt like y'all was doing like an Essence set. I mean, with the long dresses, girl, you on top of the camel. I'm like, wait a minute, Tristan over there with the cigar blowing smoke. I'm like, oh, wait a minute now, come on now, bring it.
Thank you. When we still do that, as well.
But see, that's good energy that you guys project. And I mean, I think a lot of people that travel and decide to relocate, they find that new bound energy, and it shows when you guys make any type of presentation.
Thank you, sincerely.
You're very welcome. So let's talk about the fly and try concept, okay? What exactly happens when you're scouting out Mexico?
Okay. So you want to take that one?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
So, when you're looking to move abroad, you're doing all your research online to figure out what country, what state, then what city, and then what neighborhood. YouTube and Google and ChatGPT will only get you so far. And, our people, we love to touch and see. So we decided to say, hey, if you're interested in moving to Mexico, we've already vetted out some places, found the places that may not be a good fit for you. So have a kind of a sample platter. Come down for a weekend getaway to where you can get to meet other like-minded people. Because let's be honest, people who are looking to move abroad right now, they're in a silo. Your family's telling you not to do it. Your friends are like, why? For whatever various reasons. And so you need someone to connect with. So when you're on a trip with 10 other people that are interested in moving abroad, you have an instant tribe. So then you have the second day, which is the component of we give you an actual tour of the city. Here's the different neighborhoods. Here are the different buildings, the apartments, the single family dwellings you can live in. Here's where the grocery store is. Let's go tour a clinic and and introduce you to the medical director there so you can ask your personal questions. If I have this existing condition, can you all take care of that? You get to talk to an insurance broker. Hey, what type of health insurance options do I have? How much is car and home insurance? You get to talk to our immigration facilitator. Hey, what do I need to do to make my residency quick, legal, and efficient? So versus just going and watching 100 YouTube videos, all these blogs and Facebook posts where they're snapping back at you, you actually get a true sample platter. But then we kind of mix it as a vacation with a purpose, because that Sunday you get what we're known for is our yacht cruise. So you get the chance to get on the boat, have a sunset cruise, and kind of have a little vibe and vibrations, but also to build in that trip with that connection with your tribe and have that nice farewell for your future home.
That's it. And the reason why it's just so condensed and we keep it small is because, let's be honest, we ain't got all week to explore this thing. A lot of us have to get back on the clock. So we take all of this, make it one immersive experience in 3 days, and then we send you back home, hopefully feeling a lot more confident and having a lot more clarity about moving here to Mexico.
Man, I'm telling you right now, because the yacht's what sold me with y'all. Okay, the yacht, I was just like, yo, I want to be on a yacht and just live that life. But like I said, I'm so glad you guys host those type of events because, like you said, watching and seeing stuff online, it can only do so much. You have to actually live and experience the whole area that you're planning on trying to move to, or at least visit.
Yes. And if I can add one more point here, Michelle, it's Tristan made a really good point. It's really important to get out of the silos and just online. There's a lot of information out there, but there's also some misinformation or even outdated information. A lot of things change, as you probably know, with immigration requirements and the environment that you're thinking about going into. So a fly and try scouting trip is the best way to ensure you're making the right decision.
We highly encourage, whether it's Mexico or anywhere you're going, go touch grass, walk around, see what it's like to live like a local. Because let's be honest, in many destinations we go to, we live like a tourist. We're on a resort, a hotel. We do just the tourist traps and get back on the plane. But what's the grocery shopping experience like? What's it like going to the mall? What's it like going to the medical facility? What's it like walking around during day and night? What's your neighborhood that you plan on moving in like throughout the day? Is it loud and noisy? Is it a lot of dogs barking? Is your child going to be safe and comfortable there? So get out the resort, get into the neighborhoods with the locals, do local things, and then you'll have a more informed decision before you spend money on a deposit, planes, immigration, things like that. Because you may say, I was interested in Puerto Vallarta, but you know what? Playa, Cabo, Cancun has more of my vibe or my needs. So we encourage you to test and see wherever you go.
That's excellent, because I can see that being a situation where you could, I would love to live in Spain. You get out there and it's definitely the opposite of what you visualized or what you researched online. So yes, people, go book a tour and learn the land before we just make that big decision. And another question I have for you, how do you help people determine if Mexico is right for them?
Good question. So we have a lot of different avenues that people can, ensure that this is the right move. One of them being our consultation call. We do an 1 hour call with you where we just sit down and just hear straight from the heart. Why Mexico? Where are you in the process? What is your family saying? What's really bothering you? What's your timeline? What can we do to help you get there a little bit sooner? We get very strategic and very granular on these calls because everyone's situation is so different. For example, we had a client that reached out to us. He had already completed his part of the residency process. This is a 2-step process, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But he had already completed his part, but he needed his wife to complete her part. But from what he was told, some misinformation from someone else he was working with, he was thinking that he was going to have to scrap the whole thing and start all over, which means wasted time and some wasted money. And so what we did is we sat down and we really, really started asking questions and making sure that he understood where he was in the process and that, in fact, he doesn't have to cancel all of it. So within, 30 days, he was out here, got he and his wife secured, and it was done. So we're also there to help you think through a lot of this because, as you know, Michelle, it's a lot of moving pieces.
Yes.
I'm still moving. I'm still moving my pieces. I'm waiting on them to slow down so I can enjoy this decision. But I understand wholeheartedly where you guys are coming from when it comes to trying to make sure people are like, you told me, no, I want you to come out here and do this yourself so you can make that decision for yourself. I'm not going to tell you what to do because you're grown. But you're grown. You make your own decisions.
This holiday season, skip the boring candles and matching pajamas. Give your girls something that says, you deserve a little peace and a whole lot of attitude. The Color Me Sassy Adult Coloring Book is not your average stress reliever. It's therapy, laughter, and self-love, all in one fabulous book. Perfect for your besties, your sister friend, or that coworker who's 2 emails away from quitting. Available now on Amazon, because nothing says Merry Christmas like a little sass under the tree.
But how does your consultation calls guide people through Mexican residency?
So I would say that, most people right now, like we said, are kind of in those silos or just stuck on YouTube or Google. But you actually get a chance to talk to someone who's actually done it, gone through the process, and lives here. So there's nothing like firsthand experience versus theory and research. So let's say you were telling us your situation with your child. We would talk to you about different schools that we know that may be able to accommodate you all. We would talk to you about different neighborhoods that we feel like would be good for a mother and a child versus the party zone. So there's all these types of things and nuances that we can kind of help point you to the right direction versus if you just try to Google it and had to come and find out yourself.
Right. And we also encourage people, this again is not a DIY project. This is definitely a group project. There are so many moving pieces. And while you honestly can do this on your own, what we found is people who do it on their own, they slave through it. We've seen people have to, do 2 or 3 times in trying to process things all over again, wasting time, wasting money. And so what we do is we lay out this roadmap for them to help them to understand you're at this step. Here's where we need to get you to the end. We connect you with our resources like our immigration facilitator, our healthcare director, anyone and everyone that you need to talk to help you feel a lot better about this move.
Yeah. Another benefit of doing on the call with us is we kind of have access to the plug. So if you try to get your Mexican residency, you have to get those 2 appointments. The first one may be a little challenging to get, but the second one is almost impossible if you're not fluent in Spanish, because the first appointment has to be at a Mexican consulate in America. The second one has to be at the immigration office here in Mexico. It's 100% Spanish on the website, the scheduling link. And once you go to the office, everything is in Spanish, the paperwork, the people who are speaking to you. So A, it's hard to get the appointment here in Mexico. B, how are you going to get through?
A lot of steps. And you know what? I know a lot of people try to get shortcuts going through this process. And during that, people can get scammed. And I know you guys have a story with a client that actually got scammed before she was able to come to you and get success. So could you share that with us?
Yes. Well, we know a few. The one that we just shared with you was one where, again, he was working with someone else. Here's the thing. When you're trying to do your research and your due diligence, you're doing your best. But the problem is there are so many people out there who can say that they provide a certain service and they may honestly not do that.
How can you verify?
And how can you verify? That's why when you use services like ours, we've already vetted, verified. These are our trusted resources that we've used. Clearly, we're here, so they work. So we try to help people understand. I understand that you may be wasting some money over there, but scrap that, put it out your mind. That's part of the whole learning process, Michelle. You're going to lose a few points probably along the way in trying to figure this out. We're here to tell you, if you work directly with us, you can curtail a lot of that. We also ran into someone recently who he was saying, I gave my birth certificate to my lawyer and it's been 3 months and I haven't heard anything. And we're like, that's not how long that's supposed to take. Get your birth certificate back.
They don't require your birth certificate.
Yeah. So it's like, it can be unfortunately scammy, but again, the peace of mind comes in when you're working with someone who has already done it and connect you directly to the vetted resources.
Mm-hmm. And because I dealt with a gentleman, matter of fact, who does tours in Panama. Same thing. A lot of people that have gotten taken down financially, time-wise, because they thought they were dealing with somebody who was legit, and the resources, you're in a new area. So you're like, okay, I'm assuming since you got a website, you got a business card, you got all these things, you look like you got credentials, but it could be shady.
It can be shady. I think people really have to look when you're going out there to try to find someone that's trusted. Go out there to their website, of course, look at those reviews, maybe even ask, hey, person, can I talk to one of the people on your reviews to hear from them and hear their experiences? Not that I don't trust your service. I just want to, hear if this is the right fit for me. Like, really be adamant about that because it's a lot going on out there. It really is.
One of the things we do to differentiate ourselves is we get client testimonial videos. So, hey, or did you have a good experience with us? Would you mind being on camera and sharing that with our audience? And then we do a recording, and then our potential clients or future clients can go and see, okay, this person went on this experience, said they had a good time, and now I can trust them a little bit more. So those are kind of things we do to differentiate ourselves besides just the Google review.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, I know a lot of people who want to go to Mexico and are going to use your services for that. They bona fide, y'all. Okay. You don't have to worry. They are bona fide. Don't you guys have like a 30-day residency program? I mean, is that possible? Because that seems like, 30 days?
I got this one.
Come on.
Technically, it is physically possible. Reality with the queue or the long or the demand for appointments is what makes that challenging. So let's talk just bare brass tack principles. It takes 2 appointments. So let's assume You can get your first appointment on Monday at the Mexican consulate, and you can get your second appointment on Wednesday at the Mexican immigration office here in Mexico. Technically, you physically could get your residency within 1 week if you can get all of those appointments lined up within that same time frame. So there's no demand or requisite that says it has to be a certain amount of days. It's the availability of appointments, because you may go to the Houston office, the consulate, say they may say we don't have an appointment until for the next 20 days, and then the Mexican immigration office may say our appointment isn't available to the next 40 days. So that's really the time frame barrier. But physically, if you can get your appointments all within the same week, there's nothing preventing you from having your residency within a week.
That's so true. But let us help you to understand the landscape of what's going on right now. Okay. So when we first started this process back in November, this is before what they call the big rush. Our immigration facilitator said this is the biggest number, the biggest surge of people that we have seen trying to get down here in forever. First of all, also know this: Mexico has the largest number of American and Canadian immigrants than any other country in the world. Forget what they're telling you back home about Mexico, okay? Ignore the propaganda. It's a very lovely country, 32 beautiful states with lots of different cities to choose from. People know that Mexico has a lot to offer. So number one, there's already a lot of people down here. But number two, considering everything that's going on in the States, there is a huge surge of trying to get down here. So what's happening is back home in the consulates, number one, I want you to understand that every consulate has their own requirements. Welcome to Mexico. Okay. Everybody has their own requirements. So it's going to be really, really important that you decide to work with someone like us or an immigration facilitator who can make sure that they can help you get into a consulate that they're pretty sure you can get through. Because again, what I mentioned earlier, there are people who have lined up everything, crossed every T, dotted every I, and still get declined. And it is so disheartening, especially when you tried it 2-3 times. Okay. So number one, the consulates have different requirements. Number two, the consulates are not there just to get you American over here to Mexico. Like, that's not their whole job. In fact, they usually have one person in that office that handles all this. And she may be having a good day or she may be having a bad day. She can say yes or she can say no. Unfortunately,
and there's no talking to a manager.
There is no talking to a manager. We're going to have to go ahead and shift our mindset when it comes to once we get out of our American, comfort zone. Countries get to do how they want to do. So your best bet is to make sure that you work with an immigration facilitator that can help you get as close to perfect as possible with everything. Okay. You want to make it to where it's undeniable when you walk into that consulate office. Well, I can't decline and they got all their stuff together going on. You don't want to give them a reason for anything. So again, just keep in mind the consulates vary on requirements. Understand that they're not here to serve us Americans. Come in kindly.
Ask them how their day is going.
Ask them how their day is going. Don't do a whole lot of chit-chatting and telling them too much.
The facilitator really makes it a smooth process.
Yes.
They set the appointment for you.
Yes.
They review your documentation to make sure it's going to pass muster. They give you instructions on what to do in your specific situation, because everyone's situation is different. You may have kids, you may have family you're trying to bring in under you. So they help customize your strategy. So literally all we had to do for the first appointment was show up, hand over documents, pay $54, go have brunch, and then come back with our stamp and our passport that says, hey, you're on to the second part. Then she set up the appointment here in Mexico, and they had a representative that speaks Spanish there at the immigration office. We literally just walked in, sat down. She went back and forth to the booth for us about 4 or 5 times. All we did was sign documents, go do our biometrics, make a payment, and we had our residency card the same day. So technically, you can do it all within a month.
That's awesome. I mean, because I know just for me going through this experience on trying to get to Panama, I'm like, is there any more paperwork? I mean, what else do I got to fill out? What else do I have to pay? What else? Am I done? Is that kind of...
It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot, but I know it's worth it. Matter of fact, because we have so much content online about moving in different places, especially Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular myth you guys have heard so often that's come offline that you guys had to correct people? Like, no, that's not what that is here.
You want to start with the C word?
Go on, child.
The cartel.
Let's talk about that one. That's the big one. Safety is everybody's number one concern.
Yes, but I will say the cartel is real. The cartel is here.
Mhm.
But like we've seen people say online so many times, if you're not messing with the cartel is not really messing with you. So you got to realize Mexico is 32 states. Every one of them has different cities. Certain areas, yes, the cartel is strong and heavy. Other areas like tourist zones, so like the Cancuns or the Puerto Vallartas, the primary income is tourism. The government has a very vested interest to make sure that these zones and areas are safe. So you're going to be more safer in the tourist zones than you would be in let's say, rural Mexico, right? Where there isn't much vested security there. And so it's just kind of like common sense. You probably wouldn't just go on vacation on the south side of Chicago, right? Because obviously you probably wouldn't go to Oak Cliff because obvious reasons, right?
Real talk.
So you just got to be aware of where the danger really is and
Yeah.
avoid it at all costs, like you would back in Estado Unidos.
That's right.
And another thing we like to challenge people to do is we ask them, what's the number one, how many threats are here that you are aware of in Mexico? Typically the cartel and maybe some petty theft, things like that. But I always ask clients, pull out your phone, go to your Google and type in how many active gangs are in America. Once again, how many active gangs are in America?
Hold on. How many do you think there are, Michelle?
Ooh, Lord, I'm going to say 50 plus. I'm just going to leave it at that because we got so much going on. I would not be surprised if it's above that number.
Oh, way above. So your Google results on your phone will show you 33,000 active gangs are in America. So let's look at the propaganda that makes people not want to come to Mexico. Oh, if I go down there, I'm going to get unalived by the cartel. Well, in America, you have biker gangs, KKK, white supremacists, all flavors of gangs, Bloods, Crips, GDs, Vice Lords, so on and so forth. The government, certain law enforcement, Vita, Texas, so on and so forth. So you have more opportunities of being harmed or in danger back in the United States. I mean, look how many school shootings they have per day, 300
Yes.
a year. They don't have that here. So we're not saying one is better or worse, but we just need to put things in perspective. If I'm going to prevent myself from moving to another beautiful country with better opportunity, better cost of living, just because of one entity that if I don't go deal in drugs, they're probably not going to deal with me. And so I can, and another thing, let's look at the fact that 1.8 million people from America and Canada have retired or some form of remote work live here. People are not moving down here with 6 to 7 figures of retirement income, afraid of one entity. They're living here. They've been living here for 20 years and haven't been bothered. So I'm just saying all this to say, let's put things in perspective. If I want to consider Mexico and this one thing that if I go look for them, they're going to find me. Don't let that be your deterrent.
And a lot of people say that because that was the first thing I got when I told people I'm getting ready to get out of here. Oh, well, is it safe? I'm like, is it safe?
Hey.
Where are we living now? Yeah, where are we living now every day? Is something going on?
Yeah. ICE, Proud Boys, insurrections.
Listen, we're just here to bring logic to this whole equation. You know, I get it. You're concerned. You want to make sure that you're putting your family in the best position, but we got to think through this very logically and understand what's really happening, and also understand that the U.S. has done an excellent job with the propaganda. I got to give it up to the marketing team. Like, they got us on scared about everything outside of the U.S. But it's not until you actually get out and start seeing for yourself and exploring and traveling that you come to the realization.
That's why a fly and try scouting trip is important, because you actually get to touch grass, walk around. Sometimes at night, we'll go walk around at 9 to 10 o'clock at night, just when it's cooler.
Yeah.
You're not doing that in Houston.
No, you're not. But that's the nature of this city. It's a walkable beach town. People are out exercising, out with their family, just enjoying life.
And that's such a wonderful thing to hear, because when you said walking in Houston at night, I got a chill up my spine just talking about that. I that's something I do not want to entertain because I'm fearful because we got too much going on.
Yes.
Can't even walk down the street. It's sad, but
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say something quickly. Everybody knows in Texas and Houston specifically, everybody holding that thing, right? We holding that tool. In Mexico, those aren't allowed. Citizens can't have those tools. So The guy walking next to me doesn't have it. The guy driving by doesn't have it. So that's another level of safety that puts us at ease.
I can only imagine because it's like gumball machines out in America. So
Yeah.
it's it's sad. I
Yeah.
also want to know, how do you ensure your clients that they go from researching to actually moving?
Good. So that's the accountability piece. And that's why we put a few metrics in place, like starting off with the call. Once we do the call with you, you say you're ready to pull the trigger, you're working within the next couple of months to a year. We go ahead and do a warm introduction with you and our immigration facilitator. From there, you're working with our immigration facilitator. She's going to help you get set up in Houston for your first appointment. Then, when it's time for you to do your second appointment in Mexico, we're going to have you reach back out to us because we want to hear what date you have it set for so we can line up either your private fly and try or your group fly and try. Because the goal is to have you come down here, complete your fly and try and your residency paperwork, and you're done.
Yep.
So we're there to ensure that you get all the way to the finish line. And we consider the finish line when you actually have your residency card in pocket, because you probably know this, Michelle, but there are some countries where once you get your residency, you have to stay there for so many days out of the year, right? Well, at this
Yes.
time of the recording, Mexico does not have that requirement. So you can get your residency card, put it in your back pocket, go back to the Estados Unidos, get all your stuff in line, sell your house, take your time with it, and then you can move to Mexico when you're ready. Okay. But we just want people to understand that these requirements change annually and they're definitely getting ready to go up. And I want you to understand they're not going up all only because of what's going on in America. The government here looks at the minimum wage here. And as the minimum wage goes up here, because they try to take care of their people, the requirements for immigration goes up. So that means this year you may only need to show 70,000 in the bank. Next year you may need to show 80,000 in the bank. So just understand that we also encourage our clients, if you're thinking about getting this done within the year or so, you need to go ahead and act now before the end of the year.
Let me talk on that because we encourage people that if you are serious about it, get it now because it may not always be available. And it's not a scare tactic. Let's look at reality. To qualify for Mexican residency, you either have to have so much saved in the bank over a 12-month period or have consistent income for 6 months straight. So right now, what's going on in America, a lot of people are getting laid off, furloughed. So if you're laid off for 2 months, then that messes up that 6-month consistent because it has to be 6 months straight. So now you don't qualify. Or an emergency comes up and you have to dip into that savings. Now you don't have 12 months of consistent savings. So you automatically are disqualified. So if you qualify right now where you still got a check and you still got money in a bank account, we had to go take care of Pookie and them.
Oh my.
Make sure that you qualify, get your residency card and go back home. And then you can still start taking your time to get things ready for you to make your move to Mexico.
Excellent move. I'm hoping y'all taking notes or look at the transcript afterwards because this is a lot and y'all need all the information as possible. But let's get into real estate because I know y'all are some realtors, okay, doing business out there. And once people settle on relocating, what role does real estate play in the process?
That is a personal choice. Well, we always recommend, and it's going to sound contrary to our business, but we recommend our clients rent first. Now naturally a realtor will say, as soon as you get here, buy something from me. But no, because there's lots of different neighborhoods, or they call them zonas here. So make sure that you are enjoying the neighborhood that you're in. And then make sure you're enjoying the building that you're in. So we recommend the clients test it out first before you purchase.
Absolutely. Now, for my clients who may say, I've been coming to Puerto Vallarta for 25, 30 years, because you have people who just come here every year. It's their second home. For those people, sure, we'll work with you on, helping you find a home, something you want to purchase, a vacation property, because you already know the environment. You understand what's here. But like Tristan said, if you're new to this environment, we recommend you just set your bags down, get your little lease, and then explore and see what your options are, because there are a lot of nice properties out here for you to consider.
And trust me, like I said, I can't leave it all online, but that's my only access to Mexico right now. But I've seen the beaches, the communities, and I'm just like, and then like I said, your website displays so many beautiful locations, and I mean, it just looks glorious. And that's like everybody should be motivated to make that move just to see people living that life. Doesn't have to always be glamorous, but it's a different life. The main thing you want is peace,
Yes.
culture,
Yes.
And if you can get those two things in your life, I think that's a brand new chapter worth living.
Absolutely. I say that is the starting ground. I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to say off bat that if you decide to move overseas, you can decrease your living expenses by almost half in a lot of these countries. Here in Mexico, people 30%, 50%.
Yeah.
I know we slashed a lot
Yeah.
when we got out here. It's just there are some countries where your money will genuinely just go further and you have so much more peace of mind. I will also want to add this, Michelle, because we hear this a lot. How do I find a job that will replace how much I currently make right now? Okay. I want to challenge you to think about some things. Naturally, you would think about trying to replace your entire income. Okay. So let's say you just used to making 100,000 a year. You're like, how am I going to make 100,000 a year in Mexico? Well, you need to consider a few things. One, the cost of living is not as high here. Healthcare is not as high here. Groceries is not as high here. So do you really need to replace your income of 100,000? Maybe you only may need to consider, I know how we do in our American ways, child. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. They're like, oh no, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Y'all can leave
Right.
me here. But it's about what are you willing to sacrifice? Because there's gonna be a sacrifice in something.
Because realistically, if you're a single person living in a 1-bedroom apartment, all in with your rent, utilities, health insurance, food, eating out, transportation, you can live off 2,000 to maybe 3,000 a month. Now, if you're a family, you have children, you need a 2 or 3 bedroom, you're probably around 4,000 to 5,000 a month, and that's once again all in. You'd really have to try to spend $6,000-7,000 a month to live here.
And I know back in the States, a lot of us are spending. We've heard people 14,000, 20,000, and that's just on
Just
their
monthly expenses. Yeah.
I look, just going over, just thinking about the budget monthly right now that we're dealing with is giving me a headache. So I'm looking forward to slashing some costs, especially when it comes to groceries and healthcare, because my child eats, nonstop. Like, boys, stay out the pantry for 5 minutes. I appreciate it. So I appreciate that, that's something to look forward to other than, the stuff that we're trying to impact our own lives.
Ever dream of dropping everything and starting fresh in another country? We actually did it. 2 sisters, 2 passports, and a bold leap straight into Panama. Now we're learning the culture, adapting to the lifestyle, dodging the insects, tasting the food, and laughing through every wild moment. And we're bringing you with us. Introducing Sisters Living Abroad, the upcoming podcast on YouTube. Real stories, real expat life, real sisterhood. Subscribe now and buckle up.
Everybody is thinking about taking that flight. What should they really think about before they book that flight?
for a fly and try or to move here permanently?
I want to say, first of all, because some people will just, let me go ahead and try it. So, and you guys offer that services. So I definitely want to know, what's the kind of client that needs to have a mindset? What do they need to have openness to take that flight?
Okay, so you're coming to Puerto Vallarta in particular. Let me just go ahead and say this. If you're coming anywhere between May and October, you need to know it's warm. Okay. If you're from Houston or the South, you're going to be just fine because you know all about humidity. Okay. So it is warmer here. It's in the 90s, but there's still a nice ocean breeze. Bring your small umbrella, not because of the rain necessarily, because it rains only maybe like 10 minutes or something like that at night. But the sun likes to shine real nice and bright out here. So you'll see a few people walking around with an umbrella. It's a lot more pleasant experience with an umbrella. So come with an umbrella, number one. And then number two, try to come with no expectations, if you will. Okay. And when I mean no expectations from the regards of trying to compare and contrast this versus America.
Country.
It's a different country. There are going to be some things that you're going to notice like, oh, that's different. Okay. And ask yourself, can I deal with that? You probably can. We're going to have some American ways that we're going to have to purge a little bit on some things. But again, like Tristan said earlier, this really doesn't feel that different from Houston for us. It really doesn't. The infrastructure is here. Modern, beautiful condos. I mean, we're talking about rooftop pools, rooftop gyms, cafes on site, spas. I mean, it's nice. It's very nice. Puerto Vallarta is it's different from a lot of Mexican cities that I think we're used to. This place here I would say a lot of the nationals actually vacation here. So that should tell you a lot about that. And a lot of the nationals, like from Guadalajara, Monterrey, they all come and move here too for the same reasons that we move here. It's more peaceful, it's a slower pace of life.
It's really one of the
Um,
best kept secrets.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it.
Man. I mean, just hearing about, like I said, a lot of people say that's what they want to try to adapt because, here, go, 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 work, work, work. And I know that's going to be one of the challenges I'm going to have to do myself is to slow down. That's my biggest. I'm always multitasking. So I'm like, I got to start training myself to slow down. So I'm
Yes.
looking forward to that aspect of it, most definitely.
And
another,
understanding that, I'm
Go ahead,
sorry,
go
and
ahead.
this thing is a big thing too. Mañana time.
Ah,
That means that if they tell you they're gonna do it mañana, go ahead and just put 2 days on top of that. Probably, they do their best to try to, but they just don't have that rush and that urgency that we tend to have in the States that just about kill us. They're a lot more family oriented. Hey, I'm gonna go to work, but then I'm gonna have a cerveza and I'm gonna turn up and enjoy my best life, and then I'm gonna go back to work the next day. They're real chill. They're chill.
I
They
need
chill. So
that.
if you can be chill too, it
And
works.
patient.
And patient. But if you know that's not your forte, please do not come to Mexico. Stay at home.
catch that flight somewhere else.
There's a lot I hear about us Americans traveling outwards that y'all got to get your mindset right, your mannerism right. And I know that's one of the biggest appeals to me.
Yes.
Stop trying to go to someone else's country and change their ways. Adapt to their ways, or find another country that has more of the things you're looking for.
And yes, you need to know a little Spanish, at least enough to survive.
Yeah, you don't have to be fluent.
It goes a long way here when you at least try to show the effort. They're also trying to show the effort to you that they know a little English. So y'all gonna put y'all 2 and 2 together and make it work. But you don't, like he said, have to be fluent, but you do want to show the effort.
I respect it.
Same thing in Panama. We can speak a little English, but respect because you are in that country, not here. So learn up on your Spanish, folks. How can people connect with your tours, get a consultation, or get into real estate? Because you guys do everything.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. The best way to do that is to head over to suttonadventures.com/freedom. And then you'll see all of our services and you can click learn more and sign up for the one that meets your needs.
That sounds excellent. I want you guys, please go visit their website, check out their videos, check out the testimonies because y'all got plenty of them. And these people have got not just their words, it's the glow in their face once they experience one of your tours and have a blast. I mean, because I saw y'all partying on the beach with a pig. So I'm like,
Oh, she's talking about suttonadventures.com. You're talking about the trips.
Oh.
You know what? If you don't mind, if we can still share that we do still do those trips. In fact, next year we're cooking up something really nice for our people. We are cooking up a Ghana and Egypt trip next December. You're the first to know. It's not even online just yet. But this is one that we really wanted to put out there because you have a lot of people who are definitely interested in moving to Ghana. And like we said, it's just important for you to get out there and get a feel of this before you hop that, 20 plus hours flight out there. It's a very long flight. So please do still check out suttonadventures.com. You can start there, suttonadventures.com, and you'll see all these great trips as well.
But for the relocation is suttonadventures.com/freedom.
okay, so we got freedom, we got tours, we got Dubai, we got Ghana, we got everything. Okay, so you guys check out both of those websites. I cannot tell you guys how insightful and resourceful you guys this conversation has been. Anybody that's looking to relocate or just get a little taste of something different, check them out, y'all. They are definitely worth the check out.
Thank you.